areas of debate right now for investors, right? Let's get some views from Banríon Capital Management President and CEO Shana Sissel. They're joining us from Chicago. And we saw that kind of warning from Marko Kolanovic, of course, someone whose views we follow very closely, about not feeling too comfortable in this volatility lull. Do you think we're setting up for more turbulent times in the second half of this year? And how do you, I guess, benefit from that?
I do think that we have more turbulent times coming our way. You know, when you think about the current earnings that we've seen thus far, and there hasn't been a lot reported yet, 94 out of the 500 of the S&P 500 companies, you've seen some strength in earnings, you've seen stability in earnings, and overall, the outlook isn't looking so bad. Now, we haven't had the big tech names, but they have made some cuts. They've laid off some folks, and I expect that their earnings will probably be pretty good as a result. Now, that said, having that kind of economic stability only emboldens the Federal Reserve to continue in their restrictive policy action. You know, we've had 9 straight months of declining inflation, but we are still well above 5%. Then that's well above the Fed target of 2%. And the Fed is going to continue to feel like they can be restrictive as long as the economy continues to be this robust. The leading economic indicators are suggesting some negativity. We saw the LEI drop 1.2% in March. We've seen a slight increase in unemployment here, but we're still at 3.5%. So overall, I think that it's setting up for the Fed to continue to be restrictive, which is not good for economic growth.
Where are you finding opportunities then with that positioning?
So I'm looking at energy and materials. I think it's interesting. Energy and materials as a market cap, those two sectors combined is the same market cap as Apple. So we have this environment where we have some restrictions on growth that's going to make me go to some more of the cyclical names. And so energy and materials are two places I'm looking. One of my favorite material names right now is Southern Copper. We are looking at a trend in increased use of EV. EVs use 4 times more copper than traditional internal combustion engine vehicles. And so there's increased demand for copper, and that is beneficial to Southern Copper Company. And, with a PE around 19, they've had improving earnings over the last few quarters, strong balance sheet, strong cash flows. That's a name I really like. Another name is NOV. That's in the energy sector. Again, 5 consecutive quarters of improving earnings, growth momentum, strong balance sheet, and again, in that energy and materials cyclical sector, which tend to do well coming out of market bottoms.
How do you leverage alternative allocations, given, of course, the dispersion of returns that we've seen?
So dispersion of returns is positive for alternatives. I continue to really focus on using liquid alternatives, so alternatives that are available to anybody. A name like BTAL would do very well if we saw an increase in volatility, since it is long, low vol, and short, high vol. High vol increases, that's going to be beneficial. High volatility increase, that's going to be beneficial for the fund. Also like managed futures, again, on that commodity play, and taking advantage of some of the spread and the disagreement in bond yields. It was pointed out earlier that a lot of hedge funds are positioning because they think rates are going to increase. I'm in that same camp. And so taking advantage of some of the yield spreads and credit spreads that are out there is another good way to take advantage of the market and what we're seeing in terms of trends as we kind of think about slowing economic growth and continued increase of interest rates.
Banríon Capital Management President and CEO Shana Sissel, always good to have you with us. We do have plenty more to come on Daybreak Australia.